there was something that I spoke around the world, and there was an exercise I did. And I remember I met with 180 CEOs in South Bend, Indiana, which is the home of Notre Dame University. See, these are 180, middle market. There weren't too many like Fortune 500 CEOs there, maybe a few. And picture this, they're all at tables. And I said, I have an exercise. I want you to take 2 or 3 minutes, and I want you to share a time in your life that you didn't think you would get through, but you did. I want you to select a time where someone in particular helped you, and that should be a person who's still alive and you could contact today, or their next of kin. So they're in your contact list. And so within minutes, people are using the magic triad of connectedness: vulnerability, courage, and gratitude. So they share these incidents of just being so raw and exposed. That's the vulnerability. And you think, boy, how courageous that you got through that. And then they talk about the person who was there and helped them and what they did. And then, catch this, I said, now you're all going to do a selfie, and you're going to send a video to that person or their next of kin, or because they're in your contact list. And you say, I'm here at this program talking about people who made a difference in my life, and I thought of you. And you're going to give them a power thank you. And the power thank you is, this is what you did specifically. They may not remember it because they did it for all kinds of people. This is what you did. This is the effort you took to do it. You went out of your way and you followed up to make sure I was okay. And then the third thing is, this is how it personally affected me. And some of you will be saying, you saved my career. You saved my marriage. You saved my child. You saved me. And you're going to do a selfie, and you're going to send it to that person. And we're going to do something at the end of the day to see how many of you got responses from those people. And at the end of the day, people raised their hand and said, I just got a text back from so-and-so. And they said they can't stop crying. They watched my video 5 times.
Yeah.
But can you picture that in your mind's eye? And then what you'd say to those people, what if you could be that person to someone who works for you?
Yeah.
And then you have them do the same exercise. I want you to go back to your team, and you can facilitate it in the same way with all those elements, including now you're all going to send them a selfie, and you're going to thank them.
It's not only is it a powerful exercise, not only is it rewarding, but at the same time, it absolutely creates an element of deep trust, love, concern, appreciation amongst the team themselves, which by default means they become a stronger team together, which means they achieve their goals as a team, don't they? So it's all powerful stuff if you have the courage to do it, and that's the key. How do you break down the barriers and give people the permission to have the courage and to be vulnerable?
Well, when you were on my podcast, and I hope this is the beginning of a long-term relationship, when you shared the anecdote of talking to your people, you hit the trifecta. I'm thinking, boy, that's vulnerable. That was courageous to just stop yourself and be open and honest with them. And the gratitude that you felt towards your team who said, Jeff, take a few days off. We'll take care of this. It was, you just had me at hello.
Yeah. And it's funny, we learn these things. Sometimes, as obviously, we learn these things too late in life. But I don't know what the answer to that is, because you have to have the knowledge, the wisdom, the experience, and so on to
I'm going to give you and your listeners. Yeah, so here's a tip. So I was a suicide prevention specialist, but I was also a death and dying specialist. So I would do house calls to dying patients and try to help them make peace with their lives. And I remember there was one person I was visiting, and he was an icon, had a terrible personal life, multiple marriages, kids on drugs. And he liked that I was direct with him. And I met with him, and I'll call him Joe. That was his name. And I'll say, Joe, you look like crap, and I don't think it's because you're dying. You've been dying as long as I know you. What's up? And he looked at me and he said, I don't think I've ever done anything important. I said, you have a hospital named after you. You've created thousands of jobs, and you're beloved out in public. And then he looked at me, and he was well known for his wry sense of humor. And he said, don't con a con man, especially when he's dying. I've got all the love that money can buy. And everything I thought was important isn't. And everything I thought was unimportant is. And I don't have time to fix that. So I said to myself, Mark, if you don't learn the lesson he just taught you, you're an idiot.
Yeah. But it does, again, it's other exercise I've been lucky to be privy to, where someone takes you on that journey. They say, right, you're 95, you're on your deathbed, I'm sitting next to you, you've got 24 hours to live. Tell me just play back to me what you think people feel about you, your wife, your kids, your peers. Just tell me what you think. And I'll make this story up just because it makes the point. I think they think I was aggressive, assertive, unforgiving, demanding. And it goes on. So you say, okay, fine. Are you happy with that? No. Well, how do you want people to think about you? Well, I want them to think I was generous and kind. Always put them before me. And okay, great. Well, guess what? I've got some good news. What's that? You're not going to die in 24 hours. So tell me what you're now going to do to behave in a way that means that when you do hit your deathbed, that's what people will think about you. What action you're now going to take. And it helps you just focus your mind, stuff that we never really think about because we avoid that type of thinking.
Oh, yeah. We run away from deep feelings and thoughts into hyperactivity. It can cause us to accomplish a great deal, but frequently we're running from something. And a lot of times what I've discovered as a psychiatrist is we're running away from it doesn't matter if the important things are missing. And there's someone I'm coaching now who's very accomplished, wealthy, self-made man. And he sent me a video of a billionaire who looked kind of sad. And the billionaire was saying, do you know what the measure of success is in life? And clearly this billionaire didn't feel it. He said, the measure of success in life is when your grown children look forward to spending time with you. And it's not because of all the things you buy them.